Hello, everyone. My name is Camille Morris, and I am the Field Operations Outreach Coordinator for USDA's Plant Protection Quarantine Program. Today, my colleagues and I are going to provide some useful tips to help you become a competitive candidate when applying for federal employment opportunities. In addition, we are going to give you an overview of Animal Plant Health Inspection Services, APHIS, various student intern programs, along with our volunteer program. First on the agenda, we have Jeree Lewis, who is the Marketing and Regulatory Programs Recruitment and Student Program Manager. Jeree, now I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Camille. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Federal Hiring Process audio recorded session. Again, my name is Jeree Lewis, and my goal is to arm you with information to help you prepare for a career with USDA. First, I would like to mention that I work within one of 7 mission areas within USDA, which is the Marketing and Regulatory Program. The Marketing and Regulatory Program facilitates domestic and international marketing of U.S. agricultural products and ensures the health and care of animals and plants. MRP agencies are active participants in setting national and international standards. Here are 2 programs that fit within the Marketing and Regulatory Program. First, we have the Agricultural Marketing Service, also known as AMS, and the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, also known as APHIS. So, let's talk about the Animal Plant Health Inspection Service, which is where I am located. The APHIS mission is to protect the health and value of American agriculture and natural resources. We are a multifaceted agency, which includes, but not limited to, protecting and promoting U.S. agricultural health, regulating genetically engineered organisms, administering the Animal Welfare Act, and carrying out wildlife damage management activities. Here is a visual of the APHIS organizational structure. APHIS is divided into a collection of 6 operational program units. They are Animal Care, Biotechnology Regulatory Services, International Services, Plant Protection and Quarantine, Veterinary Services, and Wildlife Services. 3 Management Support Units, Legislative and Public Affairs, Marketing Regulatory Programs Business Services, Policy and Program Development, and 2 offices supporting federal government-wide initiatives. They are the Office of Civil Rights, Diversity, and Inclusion, and the Office of Emergency Preparedness and Response. Next, let's take a look at some of APHIS targeted positions: agricultural business, animal science, biological science, plant pathology, physiology, veterinary medicine, and wildlife biology, just to name a few. APHIS Administrator Kevin Shea has identified 10 things that are a priority on his list that we as APHIS employees must adhere to in order to ensure the health, marketability, and profitability of our industries. For example, business process improvements. This is keeping our commitment to move new technology to the market faster. Example, APHIS has made business process improvements for our veterinary biologics and biotechnology systems so that important new technologies can reach the market faster. And also, another very critical goal is the animal disease traceability, which establishes traceability performance measures that document our progress on some of the various diseases that are shown below. Now, let's take a look at my presentation topics this morning. I will talk about the Pathway Student Employment Program. There are 3 programs that sit under the Pathways program, and they are Internship Program, Recent Graduate Program, Presidential Management Fellows Program, also known as PMF, followed by applying for federal jobs. I'll do a quick USA jobs overview. I'll talk about the application process. And lastly, arm you with tips and suggestions in writing a successful resume. So let's define the Pathways program. It provides clear paths to federal government careers for high school to postgraduate students and to careers for recent graduates. It also provides meaningful training and developmental opportunities to those who are beginning their federal careers. Now let's define the internship program. So this program provides students enrolled in a wide variety of educational institutions from high school to graduate level the opportunity to work for agencies and explore federal careers while getting paid for the work performed. Students who successfully complete this program may be eligible for conversion to a term or permanent position in the competitive service. So the Pathways program replaces what was known as the STEP, which is the Student Temporary Employment Program, and SCEP, known as the Student Career Experience Program, which sunsetted once Pathways program was born due to a hiring reform initiative. President Obama signed into executive order on December 2010 what was called Hiring Students and Recent Graduates. On July 2012, a final Pathways regulation was born. So some of the eligibility requirements to participate in the internship program is an individual who has been accepted for enrollment or who is enrolled in an accredited degree-seeking program or who is seeking a high school diploma, a certificate. They are in a vocational, trade school, or being homeschooled is also eligible. Student trainees must be enrolled a minimum of half-time and be in good academic standing. They must maintain a 2.0 minimum GPA. The position should be related to academic or career goals. U.S. citizen may be appointed to an interim position provided that the student trainee is lawfully admitted to the U.S. as a permanent resident or is otherwise authorized to be employed. Student trainees must be a U.S. citizen to be eligible for non-competitive conversions to the competitive service and must be at least 16 years of age. Some of the training and work requirements: you must enter into a written agreement for the position. There are trainings, programs, and educational requirements that must be completed prior to conversion to a permanent or term appointment. You must have at least 640 hours of work-related experience. However, up to 320 of the required 640 hours can be waived if the student demonstrates some superior academic achievement, which requires a 3 to a 4.0 cumulative GPA or 3.5 to a 4.0 major GPA, or sit at the top 10% of their graduating class, or if they previously spent time in an internship or worked in an agency through a third-party program, which my colleague Sophia Kirby will talk a little more about third-party programs later on in this session. You must have successful completion of academic study. However, USDA agencies and staff offices may require additional training. You must have a mentor assigned within your first 45 days of entry into position, and an individual development plan, also known as an IDP, should be established within the first 45 days of entry into the position. APHIS also manages several internship scholarship programs. These are formal internship programs that follow pathways. So let's take a look. First, we have the Saul T. Wilson Internship, which is managed by our very own Veterinary Services Program. Target majors are veterinary medicine and biomedical sciences. Also, the Daniel E. Salmon Internship, managed by Veterinary Service. Target majors are microbiology, entomology, and budget and management analyst, just to name a few. Then we have the William F. Helms Internship, which is managed by our very own Plant Protection Quarantine Services, and their target majors are agriculture business, agriculture careers, botany, and plant pathology. And our newest member to the APHIS Internship Scholarship Program is the Dr. Chester A. Gibson Internship, which is managed by our very own animal care, and they too target majors in veterinary medicine. So, individuals selected under these scholarship programs, under VS, individuals selected can earn up to $7,500 per year in their undergraduate studies. They can earn $15,000 per year in their graduate studies. Plant Protection and Quarantine, individuals selected under this program can earn up to $5,000 per year in their undergraduate studies and $10,000 per year in their graduate studies. Individuals selected under animal care can earn $10,000 per year in their undergraduate studies and $15,000 per year in their graduate studies. These funds can be applied towards books, tuition, and other associated costs. Now let's take a look at our recent graduate program. This program targets individuals who have recently graduated from a qualifying educational institution or program. The eligibility requirements are those who have met all requirements for obtaining the degree and certificate programs shown here. Applicants must apply within 2 years of degree or certificate completion. Let's talk about military service obligation. So those who are military and are unable to apply within 2 years of receiving their degree due to military service obligation have up to 6 years to apply. Now let's take a look at some of the training and work requirements of a recent graduate. They too must enter into a written agreement for the position. They must have 40 hours of formal interactive training per year. They must complete mandatory annual training. There are required trainings that must be completed in order to be converted to a term or permanent appointment in the competitive service. They too must have a mentor assigned within the first 45 to 90 days of entry into position. They also must have an individual development plan that should be established within the first 45 days of entry into position. Next, we will talk about our final program under Pathways, which is the Presidential Management Fellows Program, also known as PMF. This is the federal government's premier leadership development program for advanced degree candidates. So the Office of Personnel Management administers the hiring and onboarding of the PMF process. And there is a fee of $7,000 that must be paid to OPM by the agency once a PMF is on board. Some eligibility requirements is individuals who have received a qualifying advanced degree within the preceding 2 years, such as law, master's, doctorate, etc. There is a selection process which includes a school nomination and a rigorous assessment process. So there is a phase that must happen, which is an online assessment that all applicants must complete during the application process. They must submit a resume and a transcript after applicant has been assessed. The top performing applicants will be selected as finalists. Finalists are eligible for an appointment as a fellow with a participating federal agency. Finalists who obtain an appointment as a PMF serve in a 2-year position. This process is designed to uncover the competencies that are critical to be successful while on the job. Some of the training and development that must happen as a PMF is that they too must have a mentorship. They also must have an individual development plan established. There are career planning, professional development, and training activities that must happen. There must be 80 hours of formal interactive training each year of the program that must be completed. Each PMF must receive at least one developmental assignment of 4 to 6 months in duration, with management and or technical responsibilities consistent with the PMF's IDP. However, a PMF may choose to participate in an agency-wide initiative or other presidential or administration initiative that will provide the PMF with the experience they'll gain through the 4 to 6 month developmental assignment. At the conclusion of the 2-year fellowship, PMFs have the opportunity to convert to a permanent position. Here is a website for you to access for further information regarding the Presidential Management Fellows Program. Note, most positions under this program start at the GS9 level or higher. Next, we have a federal government locality pay table that actually gives you an idea based on your grade in STEP, the amount of monies that you will earn annually. Did you know that 30% of the USDA workforce will be eligible for retirement by 2019? Yep. USDA is comprised of approximately 100,000 employees, but 30% of its workforce will be eligible for retirement by 2019. That makes a whopping 30,000 USDA employees eligible for retirement. For additional information around the Pathways program, here are some helpful websites. First is the Pathways Frequently Asked Questions, Jobs by College Major, federal occupations by college major. And last but not least, we have added a link to that actually gives you careers around USDA APHIS. So here is a few of our past pathways individuals, and they agreed to share testimonials with you. So our first young lady was a USDA Pathways intern, and she wanted to share with you that she have a BS in criminal justice and master's in forensic investigations with a concentration in investigation. The Pathways program helped her to pursue a non-competitive career as a security specialist and a misconduct investigator. Thank you, Pathways, for giving me direction when I thought a government career would have never existed for me. Next, we have our USDA Pathways former recent grad, and this is what she wanted to share with you. My time as a Pathways recent graduate participant has been absolutely rewarding. I am afforded all the opportunities as every employee, and I have taken full advantage of professional development, interagency organizations, leadership roles, and so on. I am happy that I was accepted. However, it took patience and perseverance. USA Jobs can definitely leave a new graduate or any applicant feeling discouraged, but you must keep applying. Whenever you see any opportunity, go for it. I was an intern for several summers, and I am certain that the experience I gained in the midst of waiting improved my odds. My advice to individuals seeking government employment is to intern, network, be persistent, and continue to build the necessary specialized experience that will make you a competitive candidate. And lastly, we have our USDA Pathways Presidential Management Fellow, Mr. Torrey Powell. The Presidential Management Fellows PMF program exposed me to a broad array of opportunities to leverage my knowledge and expertise in a meaningful way that has a positive impact on people. Every day, I had the opportunity to learn from and engage with USDA leadership on topics that mattered to me. This program is truly focused on developing the next generation of government leaders, and I would not be where I am today without you. All right, next, so let's turn your attention to USA Jobs and applying for a federal job. Okay, so candidates can refine their search results of eligibility by applying for jobs under U.S. citizens or federal employees. U.S. citizens generally are all sources. Federal employees are either status candidates who are current federal employees with career or career conditional status, and former employees with career status. Then we have non-competitive, which is a special hiring authority established by law, such as military veterans appointments, VRA, which is veterans recruitment appointments. We also have disabled veterans. We have 30% or more disabled veterans, or persons with disabilities, also known as Schedule A. So what is USA Jobs? It's a site that houses a listing of federal job opportunities or job opportunity announcements. It's a great starting point for your application to many federal agencies. It's a valuable online resource for information about federal hiring practices. It is managed by the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, and a public notice or a vacancy announcement is required by law under 5 USC 3327 and 5 USC 3330 to post a vacancy announcement or public notice on USA Jobs. So let's take a look at types of federal job appointments. First, we have career conditional. This is a permanent appointment that requires a 1-year probationary period. It also can lead to a career status after 3 years of substantially continuous service. You receive benefits such as health, life insurance benefits, etc. Next, we have term appointment. This appointment, you work for a limited period of time, lasting for more than 1 year, but not to exceed 4 years. It requires a 1-year trial period. You also receive benefits such as health, life insurance benefits, etc. Lastly, we have the temporary appointment. This appointment lasts 1 year or less with a specific expiration date. You do not serve a probationary period and is not eligible for promotion or transfer to other jobs. You do not receive benefits. However, upon completion of 1 full year of current continuous employment, you are eligible to earn health benefits. You also may earn sick leave, those who appointments made longer than 90 days. You also can receive annual leave. So some options and resources available in USA Jobs is the ability to set up an account. You can develop a resume and upload supporting documents. You can search for jobs, apply for jobs, receive application status updates, and it is an excellent source for applicant resources. So let's talk about the federal government employment application process. So you are required to follow the qualifications guidelines outlined by the Office of Personnel Management, OPM. You must provide detailed information about your qualifications, which should be housed in your resume. Also, the federal government honors recognition of veterans and special hiring authorities. Human Resources is required to notify you of your status, and you must present supporting documentation. And just to give you an example of some supporting documentation, you may be asked to provide a college transcript, a DD 214 for those who are military, or an SF-50 for current federal government employees. Let's take a look at some resume tips. Remember to always take the time to build or create a resume before you find a job you are interested in. Don't wait until the closing date to start the process. Remember, you want to be detailed and specific in your descriptions within each of the resume sections. Detail your experience, paid or unpaid, and your education. Next, you want to preview your resume and make sure that you read the announcement closely. And you may build or upload a resume. Include dates of employment and hours worked so that the individual rating your application can properly assess your experience. Some additional resume tips to arm you with is you may modify your resume up to the closing date of the announcement. You may also submit supporting documentation by uploading directly to the website or by fax. I will always encourage you to read the vacancy announcement in its entirety for further instructions. Then you want to submit the supporting documentation that is outlined in the announcement. So, example, some positions require specific coursework in order to be qualified for the position. Unofficial transcripts must be submitted. This will help to show you meet positive education requirements. So, in completing the application process, again, you want to always review your entire application package before submitting. Include personal information. This allows your HR, human resource person, opportunity or a way to communicate with you and keep you up to date on your status. Answer as honestly as you can the federal questions and vacancy-specific questions that will be presented to you while going through the application process. And of course, always include your resume, followed by personal or professional references. Or you may also mention that references will be available upon request. Again, submit supporting documentation either by way of fax, upload, or however it is actually described on the vacancy announcement. For additional information, I can be reached at the Marketing Regulatory Programs, jeree.b.lewis@aphis.usda.gov, or 301-851-2870. This concludes my presentation. It was certainly an honor and a privilege to come before you today and to arm you with such valuable information. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jeree. Next on the agenda, we have Human Resources Specialist Judy Craney, who is going to present an overview of APHIS's Volunteer Service Program. Judy, now I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Camille. This presentation is a brief overview of the policies and procedures of the Marketing and Regulatory Programs, MRP, Volunteer Service Program, in addition to government-wide pathways programs to bring students and recent graduates into the workforce. The federal government also has authorization to bring volunteers on board to support agency programs. Purpose. Through the USDA Student Volunteer Authority and OPM regulation, MRP may provide students with the opportunity to develop valuable workplace skills, connect, and network with professionals in their specialized areas of interest, explore the federal work environment, and learn the mission and responsibilities of the agency. Student volunteers. Student volunteerism offers learning opportunities that may benefit the student to enhance their academic pursuits and in some cases receive academic credit for their volunteer activities when it meets certain requirements of their academic curriculum. Students who want to receive course credit for volunteering must arrange the volunteer assignment with their academic advisors. Age requirements. Minimum age of volunteers under USDA policy is 14 years of age. Participation of minors in the volunteer service program must conform to OPM regulations, Department of Labor regulations, federal, state, and local laws. In addition, volunteers under the age of 18 must have parental consent to participate in the volunteer program. Security. In addition to age and citizenship requirements, volunteers are also subject to background investigation procedures, which are applied based on the duration of the volunteer service and the level of access to facilities, equipment use, etc. Criteria for participation in the MRP service program. The OPM regulation and departmental policy have specific criteria within which eligibility and status are defined. Most notably are the definition of a student, which articulates the status of full-time or part-time, education level, the academic standing of the student, and the participation of the educational institute if the student is to receive credit for the volunteer experience as a learning opportunity. More specifically, the student volunteer must be at least 14 years of age, must have permission of the institution at which he/she is enrolled to participate in the volunteer program. If the student is to receive course credit for the related assignment, must be enrolled not less than half-time in a course of study related to the volunteer assignment to be performed, must be currently attending a high school, trade school, technical or vocational institute, junior college, college, university, or other accredited educational institution. Must meet academic standing requirements as follows: a cumulative GPA of 2.0 or higher on a 4.0 scale, or the minimum GPA requirements of the academic program in which the student is enrolled if greater than 2.0, or the minimum academic requirements based on the grading system established by the qualifying academic program in which a student is enrolled, and the student meets all requirements established by his/her academic institution to be considered in good academic standing. Acknowledge that the services performed will not be compensated by the agency and must be willing to sign an agreement outlining responsibilities. MRP Volunteer Service Program Procedure. There are three main components to the overall procedure necessary to become a student volunteer with MRP. Once an opportunity becomes available to you, you will be asked to submit an unofficial transcript, resume, and letter of interest. Then you, the MRP host official, and the Education Institute, if you are receiving academic credit for the volunteer experience, must complete an agreement. 2, all prospective volunteers must submit to background checks and security clearances prior to the commencement of volunteer service. At a minimum, you will be required to submit fingerprints and have a special agreement check run. The extent of the background investigation and security check will depend on the nature and or duration of the volunteer assignment. The volunteer assignments typically will last for a period of 3 to 4 months. 3, once the two main components of the volunteer service procedure are complete and approved, the volunteer may onboard with the host program. Student volunteer programs. Here we list some of the volunteer opportunity programs currently operating within USDA and marketing and regulatory programs. Procedurally, the MRP Volunteer Service Program does not require advertising for solicitation of applications to fill volunteer opportunities at this time. And at this time, there is not a central depository that specifically posts available volunteer opportunities. However, the programs of MRP, which includes Animal and Plant Health Inspection Services, APHIS, and the Agricultural Marketing Services, AMS, have partnered with various educational institutes to provide students with learning opportunities through externships. If you are interested in volunteering with one of the MRP programs, the most expedient manner is to access the website listed above. Once there, you will find brief overviews of the various volunteer programs available to students to include points of contact. Volunteer opportunities are available throughout the year. However, some of the formal externships accept applications during specific time frames. Therefore, I caution you to take particular attention to dates and time frames to submit an application as you research potential opportunities. This concludes my presentation. I have listed my contact information here for future reference. Please feel free to contact me should you need assistance.
Thank you, Judy. Last but not least, Sophia Kirby, who's the Chief for Outreach and Communications for the Office of Civil Rights, Diversity and Inclusion Office, is going to give you an overview of APHIS's student program.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me. As stated, my name is Sophia Kirby, and I'm the Chief of Outreach and Communications. And just to give you a little history about my position, as my colleagues have mentioned, APHIS offers numerous opportunities to students, internships, scholarships, the volunteer program. And one of my goals within the Office of Civil Rights Outreach, Civil Rights, Diversity and Inclusion as Chief of Outreach, I want to make sure that all opportunities are advertised to all students and that all students have an opportunity to participate in these programs. So, like we stated earlier, we offer opportunities within agricultural, science and technology, math, environmental management. Basically, our agency covers the gamut. We are interested in students basically of all majors. And we try to allow students an opportunity to come and work for our agency so that they will have some insight on what it is like to work within a federal agency. Today, I'm going to talk to you about our third-party internships. Jeree Lewis mentioned it briefly in her presentation, but I'm going to talk about our student programs within the third-party partnerships. And when I mention third-party partnerships, I am speaking about partnerships that our agency has with other organizations that we partner through a memorandum cooperative agreement where funding is provided from the agency to these organizations, and we partner to promote an internship program where the students will report to our agency. So today I'm going to talk to you about the 1890s National Scholars Internship Program, the Conference on Asian Pacific American Leadership Public Service Internship Program, known as CAPAL, the Hispanic Serving Institutions National Program, HACU, our Martin Luther King Jr. Internship Program, the Native American Serving Institutions Internship Program, Navajo Veterinary Technology Program. I'm very sorry about that. Thurgood Marshall College Fund Internship Program. So moving forward, we're going to talk more about the 1890s program. And on all of my slides in the very beginning, you'll see that I have where the duration of the internship, the website where you can look up additional information, and the application deadline. Because these are third-party internships, you don't apply to USDA APHIS. You will be applying to that organization. So with the 1890s, you see all of the deadline dates and everything, but let's just get into the meat of it. The program, the 1890s National Scholars Program, is a program designed, it's a partnership between the 19 historically black land-grant universities. And the land-grant universities were formed by the Second Morrill Act. So this 1890 National Scholars Program allows scholarships to students who apply. They first have to be accepted at one of the 19 historically land-grant universities. Once they apply, once they've been accepted to the school and then they apply to the program, if accepted, this scholarship offers room and board, tuition, internship, supplies, all of that within their 4-year studies. Now, this program is offered to incoming freshmen, but it's also offered to upperclassmen. So upperclassmen can also apply. And like I said, it deals with careers in agriculture and other related sciences and disciplines. The eligibility, you must be a U.S. citizen, have a cumulative of a 3.0 or better. As stated, you have to be accepted at the university, and have a strong resume, as my colleague Jeree talked about, having a strong resume and listing all of your activities and demonstrate leadership and community service. Next, I'll talk about the Conference on Asian Pacific American Leadership, CAPAL. This is an 8-week internship, and you have the website, and usually the application deadline is in February. Now, about this program, the organization wanted to partner with other government organizations to give the Asian community, the students, exposure to coming into the federal government and working at a number of the agencies. And basically this particular organization would, you can be an undergraduate or a graduate student, and in hopes that they would obtain experience within the federal sector, in hopes that they would want to have a long-time career with a federal agency. The eligibility is similar to the 1890. Must have a 3.0. And one change in this particular internship is that you do not have to be a U.S. citizen, but have all of the necessary paperwork which would allow you to work, such as a work visa, etc. There are specific requirements, but if you have that information, you could be cleared also to have a CAPAL internship. Unfortunately, this particular internship is only for the Washington, D.C. area. So based on the acceptance, students who come to the D.C. area, they're given a housing stipend to find housing. As I mentioned with the 1890 scholarship program, housing is paid once for your summer internship. Housing is paid by your program. But with CAPAL, you have to find your own housing and you get a housing stipend. Next, we have the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, the HACU Summer Program. This is a 10-week program, and usually the students have to apply by mid-February. This program was established through an executive order where they wanted to diversify the federal workforce with Hispanic students. So this, I cannot remember which president, but it was an executive order that was made that offered students to have a federal experience through the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. You have to be a U.S. citizen, a minimum 3.0 GPA, and this particular program, the HACU program, does not accept freshmen, but accepts sophomores on up to graduate and professional students, and all majors are welcome. This internship program, the Martin Luther King intern program, is special. It is specific to our agency, where within, and this is in conjunction with our special emphasis program. During the month of January, you know that that's Martin Luther King holiday within January, and in conjunction with Black History Month, we work together, my office works together with the special emphasis program managers, and we have an essay contest where we target the neighboring middle schools and high schools within the area of our Riverdale office. And we usually do this around late mid-January, and what we do is for the middle school students, we have like an art competition, a pictorial, or an essay competition. And usually we ask the students, we give them, and the high school students, we give them a statement to feed off of for an essay. And basically this year, the question was, what are you doing for others? And the students wrote an essay, and for the high school students, those who were 16 years of older and who placed, actually we gave the internship to the first place winners. And like I said, the schools are neighboring within the area of our Riverdale office, and the students must have a 3.0 GPA, must be 16 years of age, and their essay must consist of 500 to 800 words and show a strong connection between the life and the legacy of Dr. King and how they can transpose their thoughts into modern day times for their essay. Next, we have the Native American Serving Institutions Internship Program. This is a program that's usually 8 weeks, June to July, and with our Office of Native American Tribal Liaison, their application process is ongoing. And we have our Deputy Director, Dr. Terry Clark, who is the contact for this particular program. This program, the students must be of Native American descent. They should have a minimum of a 3.0 cumulative GPA, And once again, this program does not accept freshmen, but sophomore, juniors, or seniors, and all majors are welcome. Another program that we have under our Native American and Office of Tribal Liaison program is the Navajo Veterinary Technology Program. We partner with our Navajo Tech University because they do have a vet tech program, and basically we have joined forces with a number of schools and organizations to promote the vet tech program. So we have a cooperative agreement with Navajo Tech, and we're promoting their students and placing them in positions across the U.S. In various programs so that they can gain experience in working in the vet tech area, and perhaps also that they will want to pursue a career in veterinary medicine. And here's the eligibility specifically for the animal science and pre-vet. And as I said, they will get their certification within this program, but we hope that they will want to continue their education and go on to vet school and come and work for APHIS. Next, we have the Thurgood Marshall College Fund Internship Program, and it's a 10-week internship, and the website and the deadline for application, which you would have to apply to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, is April 30th. Just to give you a little history, the Thurgood Marshall College Fund has been around, oh my gosh, for so many years, and APHIS started to partner with them in 2012. And this partnership was a cooperative agreement which we partnered with the organization to bring on at least 30 students, undergraduate and graduate students each year, and we placed them throughout our organization for their 10-week internship experience. With this particular cooperative agreement, the Thurgood Marshall, you have to apply to the Thurgood Marshall organization. They go through their own interview process, and if selected, then you're put in a pool to be selected by USDA APHIS. Students are placed all over, and like I said, all majors are welcome. And a little bit more about Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall caters to the predominantly black institutions, the public, historically black colleges and universities. And approximately about 80% of the African American population attend these public black institutions. The eligibility is that you must be a U.S. citizen, must have a minimum 3.0 GPA. The acceptants are upperclassmen, graduate, and professional students, and all majors are welcome. Now, this concludes my presentation, but I also want to say now, with all of the third-party internships that I talked about, USDA is an equal opportunity provider, employer, and lender. So all students are welcome to apply to all of our programs. They are federally funded, and we cannot discriminate. So we welcome you, and we look forward to hearing from you. Here is my contact information and also Dr. Terry Clark. If you have any questions regarding these programs, please reach out to us, and we look forward to hearing from you. Hopefully we'll see you next year in an internship. and hopefully you will want to work permanently for USDA APHIS. So I thank you and look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Sophia. In closing, I want to thank each and every one of you in advance for reviewing the Federal Hiring Process webinar. I have posted some career documents for you to download. These handouts will help you gain a better understanding of the various opportunities offered by APHIS. If you have any follow-up questions or concerns, please feel free to contact Jeree Lewis, Judy Craney, Sophia Kirby, or myself. My phone number is 919-855-7340, and my email address is camille.e.morris@aphis.usda.gov. Thank you, and may you have a wonderful day.